So let's just recap where we're at right now. So you've decided that, what type of finance is right for you. You decided that if you're taking on some kind of investment finance, then you're going to need to go through the process of getting yourself investment ready. I've walked you through the exact process of getting investment ready, bar the last 2 points. The first thing is make it easy for people to invest by getting the right tax structure and make yourself cheaper than your competitors seeking finance. Then you want to get yourself legally correct so that if you work or if you fail, everything's okay, and you've considered what that looks like. You've done it, you pitched in a compliant way. You put together a business plan 3.0, which is starting with your 20, moving up to your 10, moving up to your videos, moving up to your link. In there's a financial model where you've taken the business plan and you've put it into numbers. By the way, can you see how getting investment ready forces you to think through the detail that most of the businesses that don't work don't think through? Can you see that this might be a really valuable process for you to go through? That's why getting investment ready is a really important thing. Now, and then you've done your financial model. Now what you've got to do is you've got to think about what your offer is, okay? So you're now ready to actually create an offer and go out there in a credible way, armed with all the resources that are going to come your way as you pitch people. So what you've got to think about is who is likely to finance you now. When you're thinking about your offer, you're thinking about who's likely to give you the money, okay? Who's likely to invest. And there's 2 types of people, I put it to you today, that might give you the money, that might support you. The first is your supporters. All the people, your friends, your family, your followers, the people that like you, the people that have known you, the people that have built a relationship with you that might not necessarily call them an investor. The second is the investors. So now you've got to look at, given that we can now raise finance from 2 types of people, what's actually going to motivate them to actually invest in us? So I think that crowdfunding is the perfect way to get your supporters to back you if you get the offer right. I think that crowd investing, for all the reasons that I've given in this presentation, is a great way of administering a funding round when you're seeking lower stages of equity finance. On our platform, you combine those 2, as I said. It's the only platform that will do that. But the first thing is you've got to think about what's the motivation for people. So what are people incentivized by? So the people that are going to give you the tenors, the 100 quids, the grand, whatever it is, the supporters, they're motivated by whatever rewards you offer, or they just dig you and they're just going to give you some money because they want to, because they like you. That's what motivates the crowdfunders, okay? What motivates the investor is obviously the shares. They're going to get some shares. What does shares mean? It means that they're going to buy something which you have plans of selling one day and making them some money if everything goes to plan, okay? Making everything relevant. So if you think about it, the people that you support, the people that are going to donate to you, they're either the type of rewards that you can offer is the product that you're eventually going to create, which makes sense, help me create this product, and then you want to promote it to people that might be interested in that product, and people that just like you as well, so the pitch that you create. When it comes to the investors, what they're mainly interested in is the team that's going to execute upon this, and they're probably only going to invest in something that they're interested in. So if you're going out to a biotech investor and asking them to invest in something completely different, they're probably not going to be interested. So it's a good idea to pitch investors that you know are likely to be interested in something that you're pitching, okay? So relevance there. Good value is another reason. So what you need to do with your rewards when you're structuring a crowdfunding offer is you need to give them some kind of discount off your product. Otherwise, they could just go buy that product somewhere else, or they could wait. If you give one of the rewards where they get something discounted, that tends to incentivize people to want to play as well. With investors, they want the tax breaks, which is why we do the SEIS thing. So they will feel like they've got a bargain if you set up the tax structure right, okay? which commands, it helps you psychologically to get to where you need to go. The other thing that people they're looking at returns as well. So what does returns mean in the crowdfunding world? You want to offer them things that money can't buy. So they want access to you if you've got a big following, if you're an expert in your industry, whatever it may be. Create some kind of exclusive party that someone can come to if they contribute, the investment party, once you've actually raised the finance. Money can't buy stuff really helps. And then in terms of returns, you want to get the valuation right. If you get your valuation of your business wrong, valuing a business is really hard. That's one of the things we'll work through. But if you don't value your business right, then no one will invest if they're getting a minuscule amount of the equity relative to what you've actually achieved. If you get it wrong, then you'll give away too much equity, and then you'll have very little equity for your future funding rounds if you're going to be doing future funding. So you want to get the valuation right and spend a little bit of time around what you think it could be. And we've got some models for how to do that. The other thing that crowdfunders are motivated by is some kind of involvement in what you're doing. So if you can give them recognition, which is showing that they're a donator, showing that they're a contributor, then some people will give you a investor just to be a part of it. The key thing is not showing how much they invested, which is why our platform won't show how much they've invested, because then if they invest a small or contribute a small amount, they might feel inferior. Yeah? So we don't show exactly what they invest, we just show that they are. And an involvement is, if you want someone to invest big, you're going to want to give them some voting rights. So what you do is you set up an offer where you give them some A shares if they invest like 25 grand or 5 grand or whatever it is. So use that tool in order to get people to increase the amount that they might invest. The other thing that people are looking for is some kind of connection. So if you're someone that's promoting your crowdfund and you're someone that they can't normally get access to, then if you give them some access as a reward, that might be a really good motivator. So access to you as a person, people crave that if they're someone that's into and digging what you do. One thing that's really important is don't think that crowd investing is just online investing. It's really not. Most of the successful funding rounds where people invest larger sums is offline meetings and investing online. So don't underestimate the importance of hooking up lots of offline meetings and giving them your slide deck and then administering it through the platform as well in a way that gets them where they know the deadline. So here's the problem with traditional angel investing is the following. One, no one wants to be the first investor. They all hold out till someone else invests. And secondly, there's no deadline, so the process can sometimes go on forever. The challenge is that investing is never the most important thing for anyone to do. They've all got other priorities and investing always gets put back. So with crowdfunding, when you've got a deadline, you've set the terms. You have to invest by this date. What do you need to do in order to reach a decision of a yes or no? What can I produce? So crowdfunding solves that problem because it sets a parameter and you set the deadline of how long you'd like it to be. Crowd investing. And then also, if you can get all of your mates to contribute, then they can see that you've already raised 5 or 10 grand and they don't feel like the first investor. So it goes a slight way to solving those problems, which normally happen with traditional investing. And then finally, the terms at which you set. So when you're offering rewards for the contributors and donators, offer them something where they're going to be the first ever to receive the product or something like that. Something that they can't buy, something where they're first. So think about your rewards, just tick them off these different things. What can you offer? With the investor, it's about the due diligence and terms. So what we do is we'll display the articles of association on your pitch so that investors can look through the terms up front if they want to do that, okay? And then finally, you've got to make it easy for them, easy to invest, and that's where a platform like Bank to the Future comes in, going through all those details. We created, and we're the first in the world to create what we call combined pitching. And combined pitching is where, on the front end, it's a crowdfund so that all your supporters and contributors can get involved. The investors can see what you're up to before having to go through the compliance process, so it increases conversion and likelihood of people investing. And then on the back end, there's an investment pitch, which is just created with full investment language, and the two are different psychologies. So we'll guide you through how to create each of those pitches so that you can get the best of both worlds, which is a new way. Here's an example. So we just launched the first ever combined pitch on Bank to the Future. The way that it works is, so, oh my gosh, are you here, Lawrence and Bianca? No, they're not here, I don't think. What they did is they created, so they've got a really good following of people that love their events. They do events for female entrepreneurs, and they get an incredible amount, like 200-300 people in a room. And so what they're doing is for those that don't, what they can do is they can promote this pitch to the masses. And people can see their pitch, they can find out about their business, and they can contribute. Here, they can click here, or they can see that there's the opportunity to invest. And then when they move across to the investment pitch, here's the real investment language, here's the amount of equity, here's the minimum investment, here's the terms, here's where you get A shares, here's where you get B shares. And they can see the whole business plan 3.0. And if they change their mind about the business plan 3.0, they can click back and say, come on, you stingy, at least give me a tenner to get this thing moving, if you want. So it's the best of both worlds. Whereas with our competitors, they can't see anything until they've created an account. But we wanted to create this layer of coaching people into being able to see your pitch.